Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Scampone Training. Today, I'm going to be retesting the Harambe system using the tin deck dynamometer. I'm also going to be correcting the mistake I made because yes, that's right. I made a mistake. I made a mistake, and I will explain that to you here. It is just a measurement mistake using the tin deck dynamometer. So last time I tested the Harambe system just to see how heavy the bands got, and in real time in front of the world, I made a couple errors. So I'm correcting that error now based upon a recommendation that a subscriber made in the adjustment here. Good evening, Lewis. Hello, Ali A1. Nice to see you again. Isometrics Guru. Thank you for that. So I might as well just hop into it right here. I want to let you guys know that I'm potentially risking my toes here doing this just for the people. So let me just talk through this setup here. Again, I'm just trying to do everything live so that you can see the trials and tribulations of a man with a half the size of brain trying to do this here. So last time, if you guys were here, I set the tin deck up on one side of the Harambe system, okay? One side of the Harambe system. So it only read half of the force output. Then I had a subscriber recommend that I do something like this, okay? Where I am right on top here. Actually, I'm going to start the session. Might as well just get right into it. I hope I don't confuse you guys here. I'm going to get right into it. New session, start session. Okay, you guys can all see that, right? All right, here we go. Man, I hope this is safe. I hope I don't lose my toes doing this. Okay, this is what I do for the people, you know? Someone's got to do it, okay? And it's going to be me. Okay, here we go. What's that reading? Okay, see, that's the issue right there. You guys saw it in real time. So basically, what I'm trying to do is center this rope so that I can get the right force output. So if you guys saw right there, I got 329 out of that. Let me start a new session so you can see it. I'm going to do it one more time just so I can eliminate or reduce the risk of injury here. So once again, resetting this. 336. We'll do one more rep. Okay, so that's a more accurate reading. So the guy who recommended doing this was right. It's just unsafe, as you can see. Okay. I'm done. I know everyone's concerned about my safety. I'm done, but as you guys can see here, the top of the band was 337 pounds, which is way more accurate than the reading I got last time, which was like 150 pounds. So I'm glad that I just got back on board with this. Now there's another thing that I would like to discuss here. Give me 1 second. How's everyone's evening? One moment here. I'm just going to show you a video of, let's see if I can get this up. Share screen. Oh, pause. Okay, here we go. Share screen. And I'm going to go dynamometer testing. Let's see what we get here. Am I on there? Yeah, here I am. Okay, so I'm going to press play on this because as you can see,
So once
I
again,
have it
I'm
up
still
set
only
up
getting about
on the one side of the Harambe system, and that's inaccurate. So it's giving me 145 pound reading. But as you guys just saw there, I pulled 330 pounds when I did it the right way. Okay, let me add one more video that's going to further allow me to elaborate on what I'm doing here. Now for an isometric test here. Share screen. Add to stage. Let's see if I can get us into a deadlift, because that's what I'm going to be doing here. Okay, the deadlift. As you see here, it's getting me up to 145 pounds. The last time I had this set up. Okay. 160 pounds is my max there on this setup of the deadlift. Now I'm going to recreate this, doing it the proper way. If everyone would just bear with me for a moment. Let me get this off of here. I'm going to get this back on. Okay. Now let me get set up the proper way here. So the dynamometer, for those that are just getting on or anybody that's new to this, I have a lot of isometric content on my page. I've invested a lot of time in isometrics because I think it to be the safest, fastest way to get strong with strong tendons in the safest manner possible. The dynamometer is a measurement tool to read your force output. Otherwise, with isometrics, you will not be able to know your force output, which is fine, and I'll elaborate on that here in a second. I have the Isomax foot plate. Of course, the Isomax strap. I'm going to set it up like I normally would the Isomax. I'm going to get myself back into position where I was. For a mid-thigh deadlift. See where we're at here. And we're going to get a force read output. Mid-thigh deadlift. Okay, I'm going to lower it just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to do a 2-for-1 here for the people. I also have the Isomax here. So I'm going to see if the Isomax is reading the same as the Tindac. Because people are always like, is the Isomax accurate? Is the Tindac accurate? All the numbers are relative to the way that you set it up. However, let's just see if these two units are accurate. Also, correcting the error I made last time and only setting up the Tindac on one side. So let's start the session here. Thanks everyone who's hanging with me. New session, start session. Okay, mid-thigh pull. You guys read what it's saying on there. I'm going to read what it's saying on the Isomax. Okay, breathing, 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 breathing. Okay, so let's see. My max there was 392, and it shows my max on the screen at 425. So that's what 5, 8, 9. What's that? Not a math guy, but that's 25, 8. That's like over 30 pounds difference, which is not really that big of a deal, but there is a difference in the two. Let's do one more reading. So as you guys can see there, 392 was my max on the Isomax, and 425 was the max on the Tindac unit. Now, last time I did this, I had it set up on one side, and my force max output was like 186 pounds. And I'm like, damn, that's low compared to what I normally pull. So then it just dawned on me and was, again, an error. I had it set up on one side. So direct access, direct resistance with the dynamometer is necessary. Unless you are always just using relative numbers. So you're always comparing it to the previous pull you had last time. So as long as it's consistent throughout, you're fine. However, if you have an ego like I have, and you would rather see 426 on the dynamometer, get it set up right. Let's do one more rep of that. New session, start session. Okay, how awesome is this that I can pull that I can pull almost 475 pounds. Actually, I gotta do that one more time. I can pull 488 pounds, 471, 488. So 70, 18, about, again, 20 to 35, 20 to 30 pound difference between the two. And again, if there's a mathematician or engineer here, let me know why there's a difference. And it could just be that there's a difference in the tools. So why do I love measured isometrics is because I just set that up in under a minute and I was able to pull 488 pounds without having to load the bar up and have 488 pounds worth of weight in my basement. How much does this weigh? This is probably maybe 10 pounds. This is probably like 8 pounds, maybe a total of, between the two, a total of 25 pounds here. And you're able to get that crazy amount of force output between the two. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, rewind it to the beginning of this video so you could kind of see what I did last time, or go to the previous video and see how I set it up that way. If you have any questions, ask now. Let's get this out of here. Remove. Okay. Ali AI. Is it Ali AI A1 or is it Ali A1? Because my name's Gennaro, and people say Gennaro all the time. So I'm very hesitant to call people by the wrong name or mispronounce their name, because people have mispronounced my name for so long. Lewis was concerned. I appreciate that. Keep in mind that 150 was only on one side, so it really should have been 300. Yes, we're right, and we're figuring that out in real time. The reason you put 330 pounds is because there was a greater stretch. Right. A1. Okay, thank you. Right, the greater stretch. Is that because of the pads that I had? Is that what you're talking about? Are you saying because the pads that I had stacked up, there was a greater stretch? The reason why I had the pads is to account for the distance between this and this. So if you can see, it's about that distance. So again, working on the accuracy of the measurement, that's why I have the pads there. Yeah, because there was a greater distance, it was more elevated, so you had a greater stretch. Yes, but if you can understand A1, I was creating a greater stretch, but it wasn't by much. I was just accounting for the distance between the bar, the Harambe bar, and the Isomax bar. So I appreciate you, dude. Is there any questions specific to you that you're here that I can take the time to answer for you? Do you do isometrics yourself? If so, what kind of isometrics do you do? Do you have any victory stories about it that you can quickly just say to the people? Otherwise, don't feel pressured to do so. There was one more thing that I wanted to show you guys. Do you guys know this guy? Do you know this guy? This is Tom Brady. And I'm starting to get into his book just because I'm curious of the man. I like elite people. I like to study elite people and what's going on in their brain. And I'll be happy to tell you that the beginning of this book is about Tom Brady's mind, which is what I wanted to study. Then I started to get into the actual principles that he applies, the TB12 principles, the TB12 method. And bro, I got the Isomax, ISO chain, my own resistance bands. Yeah, so you're right there with me, dog. You got the Isomax and the ISO chain. Just tell me the difference between the two. Do you still use the ISO chain even though you have the Isomax? So you got to be pretty strong too. Let me know if you're pulling I don't know, 300 or 400 pounds or whatever you want to do there. So back to pliability, the TB12 method. He talks about pliability, and when he says pliability, it is the lengthening and softening of a muscle. And he took his trainer, and basically his trainer would apply pressure to the muscle deep muscle tissue pressure as Tom Brady was contracting and relaxing his muscle. Isn't contracting and relaxing your muscle without moving your limbs isometrics? So did Tom Brady create the TB12 method about pliability doing isometrics without even knowing it? And is he getting the benefits of isometrics without even, I'm not even sure if he mentioned it once in this book. So again, he talks about pliability. When he says pliability, it's the lengthening and softening of the muscle. And so he has his trainer press into all of his muscle fiber as he contracts it and relaxes it. Again, isn't the contracting of a muscle just without moving the limbs, isn't that isometrics? So I thought I prefer the base plate of the iso chain. Okay, interesting. So if anybody wants, let's discuss this. The Isomax has, I got so much going on here, people. The Isomax has this plate. The iso chain has more of like a metal plate that's thin. And it has a hook here in the middle, I believe. So where you just hook it into the middle. And I'm curious why you prefer the base plate. Why do you prefer the base plate on the iso chain over the Isomax? Just out of my own curiosity. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask. I got the time. You got the questions. I may have the answers. Again, I'm just a nobody here, just doing the best that I can, exploring and experimenting live on YouTube with people. And I also train clients. And I might as well put in a plug for myself right now. I do online training. So there's two options. You can do an isometric call. It's a 30-minute consultation call where we can get you set up with some equipment and a 4-week workout program, isometric program, or monthly coaching where I put you through a live Zoom workout once per week. So 4 workouts per month. And it's just a cool way to have a personal trainer right inside of your home without having to move your body or your location. So if you have any interest in that, if you're watching that, DM me on Instagram, Scampone Training. I prefer the base plate of the iso chain. All right, so basically to round this out here, I don't want to keep anybody for too long. It's where I'm at, it's almost 8 o'clock. I tested the Isomax with the Tindeck unit. There's about a 20 to 30 pound difference between the two items. I corrected an error I made last time by making sure the resistance was directly in line and not on just half of the equipment. And I also just tested the Harambe system, the green band here. This is the heaviest band that I purchased from them, though they have heavier bands. I think I got up to 336. I just want to say that since getting this piece of machinery here, I've gotten stronger, both dynamically and isometrically. I don't really know why that is. I know why it is. It's because isometrics make you stronger than anything else. But I feel like the green resistance band was way easier for me than it normally is. And my mid-thigh pull is higher than it normally is. Not by much, but it is certainly higher. And just by using this piece of machinery, measured isometrics, just kind of mentally turn something on as you're doing them that allows you to just have more force output and more focus. As with isometrics and measured isometrics, Brad Thorpe, who owns the IsoFit right here, he was on a podcast the other day, and he was talking with someone about measured isometrics. With the IsoFit, you can't measure. And he said, with isometrics, there is like millions upon millions of different positions you can put your body into. And he said, with that, what is the point of having one data point, one measured data point? He says either to do away with measured isometrics altogether, or we're going to have to just do more measured isometrics and get more data. So like, for example, This position, if you measure it, is different than this position. A mixed grip is different than this position, is different than this position, is different than this position, is different than this position. So basically what he's just saying is there's so many different options and positions you can get your body into. Are we right in measuring one data point? I think that's a great argument, and that's why I respect Brad Thorpe. I guess my rebuttal with that would be this just kind of forces you to contract the muscles harder and put more effort forth. So it may not be the perfect situation, though if it allows you to just go a little bit harder every workout, then I think it's worthwhile. And like I just said, I have seen gains from it myself that I can attest to, and I can show you from just based on previous videos. Okay, let's see here. A1, I'm definitely gonna read all these because I respect you, and I'm gonna give you the time here. It is wider, okay, but it bends when pushing over 350 pounds, okay. It is said that 3 seconds on Isomax is approximately 1 rep on dynamic range. Interesting experiment would be to take an Isomax weight you can do for say 30 seconds and see if you can do around 10 reps. I will do that, dog. Let me copy and paste that. Can I copy and paste that? I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. 3 seconds on the Isomax is approximately 1 rep on dynamic range. All right, I like that. Example, 60 pounds on Isomax for 30 seconds. Would that translate to 10 reps doing dynamic range, bicep curl as an example? Yo, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to test that. There's also a study that came out that said that 1 minute of isometrics is equal to 5 minutes of selectorized machine resistance exercise. So that's 5 times more efficient than dynamic exercise. And I'm an efficient guy. Like, if you could do it in less time, wouldn't you? Okay, so I guess I'll just give you my quick philosophy on why I do isometrics too. Every time you put stress on the body, there's a risk to injure yourself. Every time I'm training someone, each and every rep they do, there's a little part of me that's like, is this the rep that's going to injure this person? And nobody wants to talk about that, especially personal trainers. They don't want to talk about the way the gym hurts you, okay? And what people do is they get injured in the gym. They blame something else they did outside, and that's what injured them. And they go to the gym. They get adrenaline rushing through their body. They feel better for about 30 minutes to an hour following the gym. And they say, man, I need the gym. I need the gym. I need the gym. But really all they're doing is masking their pain because the adrenaline rush they have. But really the gym is causing their injury. For example, on the X3 bars Facebook today, someone was talking about golfer's elbow. Okay. And one of the people on there said, you're not getting golfer's elbow from doing the resistance bands exercises. You're getting golfer's elbow from having poor posture. So wait, you mean to tell me that putting hundreds of pounds of resistance on your elbow is not causing the elbow pain, but just having poor posture is? Yes, maybe the poor posture is impacting the elbow and the way that it moves and everything, but why are we just gonna like deny that putting stress on the joints is just too much stress on the joints is just not good for the joints? Everyone's in denial that exercise may be causing some pain that we have. So that's kind of a rant, but why I do isometrics is because it's super efficient. So I'm trying to get the results in the least amount of time possible, minimizing risk of injury. Like if I can just do exercise for 10 minutes every 2 weeks, I would consider that. I love exercise and I love the way it makes me feel. So I do more like an hour per week. But if you get it done in less time, you're minimizing risk. And you can probably get 80% of your genetic potential doing 10 minutes a week. And nobody wants to admit to that because the industry is built around more volume, especially for personal trainers. And I'm a personal trainer. I see clients. I'm probably impacting my own business by saying this to you. I tell clients they want to come 3 days a week. I tell them, no, you only come twice a week. That third day might be the day that you get injured or that you start to get elbow pain or knee pain. So is that third day actually creating the gains that we want? Is it necessary? It may not be a great business strategy, but I'm not here for the business side of it. I'm here for making people healthy and strong and fit for as long as possible. So I really don't care about the money side of it. Wow. So that was kind of a rant right there. And that's why isometrics is the best, because how efficient it is, how safe it is, and how much gains you can get in such little time. Does anybody have anything to add to that? Am I talking crazy? I'm experimenting with it now. You should let me know what you get. Let me know what you get. Please do let me know what you get. You can injure yourself with Isomax too if you do it incorrectly. Ask me how I know. You're right. Ask me how. So tell me how. Yeah, tell me how. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it, dude. It's a super powerful machine. This guy right here, doc. This guy is extremely powerful. And I tell my online clients that, like, I have a client who wants to do this like 6 days a week. And I don't think it's necessary. And you can injure yourself doing it if you don't do it properly. So again, just minimizing risk. And the best way to minimize risk is to just not do it. It's just not, if I don't touch this thing, I'm not going to get injured doing it. So if I just do it twice a week or once a week, I'm minimizing my risk. I'm focusing all my attention on that 10, 20, 30-minute session. If you do 30-minute sessions 5 days a week, your attention might slack. Like you might get lackadaisical on the third day and slip up and hurt yourself. But if you got one day, one 30-minute session a week of this, you can direct your full attention to this. But if you're doing this 6 days a week, that third or fourth day, you might slip up. And that slip up might be worse than where you started before you even did isometrics. I hope that doesn't, you can injure yourself. So yeah, let me know what you did to injure yourself. I'm curious, because we should, as much as we like to talk about the benefits of isometrics, and I love isometrics, we should also wear the other hat. Let's put the hat backwards. Let's talk about how you can injure yourself. 400 pounds of force output is 400 pounds of force output. You're not getting the wear and tear on the joints of the friction of the movement, but you're holding 400 pounds of force, so that's 400 pounds of opportunity to injure yourself. Okay. I mean, I hope I'm not crazy. Let me just take a deep breath, because sometimes I get going and I tend to rant and ramble, and I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want to confuse anybody either. So, Scampone training, lots of isometric tools, can be done in your basement. If you want online isometric coaching, scamponept.com to book a call there. Follow me on Instagram so you could DM me there. Leave a comment below on your experience with any of these tools or with isometrics in general. Let's have an honest, open discussion. And let's have an honest, open forum. Not enough people keep honesty online for the sake of the cult and for the sake of the business. They'll hide some injuries that they may have gotten from the tools they use because they believe so heavily in the tools. And that's what I've found with exercise. People believe their opinions are so strong in exercise, it might as well be religion. The comments I get sometimes from people, because they don't believe in isometrics, is like I am telling them their religion is fake. And it's just exercise. Okay. It's just a way to stay in shape. So let's Let's be the people to be honest and open about our experience, good and bad, so that we can find the ultimate truth. Because that's a part of the reason why I'm here, and probably part of the reason why you're here and why you found Isometrics is because you want to get to the very best, the very safest of exercise, so that we're not wasting our time. My time here is done because I got to go be a dad. I appreciate all of you trying the Climb Harder app with 35 crane scales. So far, I think it works better than my ISO chain. Climb Harder app. Okay, interesting. I'm going to also screenshot that and take a look at that. Yeah, the $35 crane scale. So can I just ask you a question, Eric? Does that crane scale connect to an app? Does that crane scale connect to an app? Because the Isomax is great, but again, it doesn't connect to an app. One more thing I want to just say before I let you guys go here. I can't comfortably use a straight bar. The Climb Harder crane scale lets me connect anything using my ISOFlow so I can position my wrist better. Now you're using the ISOFlow. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is the ISOFlow, is that not, I don't want to get this wrong. Is that Bullworker? Is that by Bullworker? Correct me if I'm wrong there. Bicep curl, fully stretched position, tendon in compromised position, 420 pounds, pop, almost tore bicep. All right. Yes. So let's talk about this. Yeah, it has a Bluetooth app. Dang. Okay. Wow. Can you tell me the crane scale, Climb Harder crane scale? Okay. So that's the brand, the Climb Harder crane scale. I'll have to look that up. Cool. Thanks, Eric. Eric, that's awesome. Okay. So let's just, while I have you here, IsoFlow is from Bullworker. Okay. Right. My Bullworkers, hang on. Can you guys still hear me? My Bullworkers right here. I just had a subscriber recently tell me that this one's dated, which I'm sure it's dated, and that the newer ones are way better. I don't really use this much. And I'll be honest with you, it's because it kind of hurt my joints. I needed more time with it, and I didn't feel like it was very user friendly for working with clients. Clients pay a lot of money. They kind of want high end, and I'm not saying this is not high end, but they just want a high end feel. So I didn't really feel like this was applicable to one-on-one training with clients. And it kind of like hurt my joints. Very achy after this. It definitely works, but kind of achy after this. Let me know if you had that experience too. Okay, so let's talk about the bicep curl. I agree with you. A1, the bicep curl is a dangerous exercise, especially with the Isomax, because you said you were in more of a stretch position, okay? Which just in general is more dangerous than any other position. Everyone right now is saying that the stretched position is better for hypertrophy, but let's just be careful in the safety aspect of a stretched muscle position, anything you do. But if you're at 90 degrees, okay, the moment arm, the distance between the resistance and the fulcrum is at its longest, but your elbow is at 90 degrees. And anytime you're in a 90-degree position, that's where you have the optimal amount of overlap in your muscle fiber. So we got a lot going on here. We're strongest in this position at 90 degrees, and we have the longest moment arm. So like we're getting an optimal amount of force output there. And we have pronation or supination, depending how you're doing it, of the wrist. So you're very vulnerable in this position. You can get biceps done probably just doing any pulling action. I don't do a lot of direct bicep work. However, if you've seen my other videos, I do the Isomax bicep curl, and I do the Harambe system bicep curl. I like the Harambe system bicep curl a lot. The Isomax bicep curl is always a little iffy for me, and I never really go 100% there. because again, I think it's the rotation of the wrist and the amount of force that the bicep can generate and the moment arm we've created. So physics, just a lot of moving parts in the biceps is vulnerable. So my recommendation, don't do bicep curl. Just, you can get big biceps doing any pulling action. But thanks for sharing that, A1. IsoFlow is from Bullworker, but a totally different type of product. Right, the IsoFlow is just like, isn't it just like something like this combined, right? Something like that, or like maybe there's a strap to it, but yeah, I've seen that. That's pretty cool. Do you like it? Do you use it? I kind of just use a yoga strap for a lot of things like that, where I just want to move freely in space. I use this yoga strap, but let me know how that product is. Where was I going? I was talking about the bicep tendon and the bicep muscle. Where was I going with that? Yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. I hope I finished my point though. There was one more item that I wanted to discuss. Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, bear with me here. Actually, let me remove this. Bear with me 1 second, please. I'll be right with you here. I just want to make sure, okay, I got to go to, how do I get out of here? Get me out of here. It's funny because my daughter says that about, never mind, my daughter plays with her toys and like fakes hiding them and says, get me out of here, get me out of here. Okay, photos. I'll be with you right here. Okay, so for example, I have a client who, can I share this ad to stage? I have a client who just started training with me like maybe 2 months ago. He's on his second package. He's never lifted weights before in his life. He's a golfer. He's a American Sign Language interpreter. So he's sitting at his desk a lot of times and just logs on to Zoom. Anyway, he pulled a 317-pound deadlift the other day, just doing isometrics for like 8 weeks. And he's never lifted weights before. And I think he's like 60 years old. So it's just crazy. And then I watch everyone else in the gym, and they're still struggling using the same machines to get stronger. And they look over at us, and we're doing something crazy in the corner, not moving our limbs, pulling on the strap here. And they probably think, what are these guys doing over there? Little do they know that this man is pulling 317 pounds without having to load a barbell or move his body at all and be done with his workout in 20 minutes. So I just think it's super powerful. But yes, but a longer adjustable strap. Use IsoFlow in combination with the Climb Harder app and $35 Bluetooth crane scale. I'll shut up now. Nah, Eric, you're good. You don't need to shut up. That was useful information because I want to check out. Okay, so Climb Harder. So this is also something that I keep on going here. The climbers, the rock climbers, are using measured isometrics for grip strength and to improve their climbing ability. And I'm wondering if they're even sure of the capability they have in their hands. And I'd like to steal this from the climbers and apply it to general fitness, specifically with people over 40 years old or performance athletes like football players, basketball players, baseball players. The rock climbers are onto something right now that we need to kind of steal from them, because I believe the Tindeck is, for example here, if you can see this, will it show up? The Tindeck logo is mountains. The Tindeck logo is mountains. So we need to catch up. We need to steal this from them. Thank you, rock climbers. Eric, are you a rock climber, by the way? If so, don't snitch on us. Don't snitch. So again, I'm not even sure if the rock climbers know what capabilities they have in this device and just the overall fitness level. Like if you see them, they're like Let me pull it up. And then I really got to go. I'm serious. My wife's going to get after me here in a second. Look, let me see if I can push this up here. Stop sharing, present, share screen. Here we go. Where am I? This right here? Share. Nope, we don't want to see a ton of that. You guys can see that? So like they're rock climbing. This is a 10 deck. They're rock climbing. They have these training rungs. I don't even think they know what they have. If we're being honest, I don't even think they know what they have. Let's see. I mean, they have a snow saw. they have a dynamometer and they have a snow saw. Like it's just crazy. It's just crazy. You can find, it's really cool. You can just find fitness anywhere you look. Well, no, I'm an old guy wanting to limit an injury. Eric, you're doing the right thing. How did you find isometrics, if you don't mind me asking? Really quick, then I'll leave you alone and I'll leave everyone else alone, and then I'll go upstairs because I really do have to go. I really do have to go. My kids are sleeping though, so that's cool. That's usually where I can get some work done. I'm gonna go hang out with my wife and watch some TV. We're watching White Lotus on HBO Max. It's a pretty good show. Kind of weird though. And we're also watching very interesting Beast Games. If you guys know Mr. Beast, I'm not a big Mr. Beast guy at all. However, the Beast Games is like human psychology. Crazy. It's on YouTube, Beast Games. It's pretty wild. Red Delta and Dragon Door. Oh, okay, cool. That's kind of similar to how I found isometrics too. No, I actually found isometrics. Let me just talk, then I really got to go. Isometrics I found through Brad Thorpe and IsoFit. I first got on my personal training journey doing high intensity training like Mike Menser, and I followed High Intensity Business podcast by Lawrence Neal. And it's all about running high intensity businesses. And he had Brad Thorpe on, and Brad Thorpe started talking about isometrics. This was like 4 years ago, and introduced IsoFit on this podcast. And I went down a rabbit hole, and I'm still down the rabbit hole, but as many of you are too. And then you find the Dragon Door, and you read this book. I went from this book, Body by Science by Doug McGuff. This is a high intensity training, HIT. Why is that not? I went from this book to this book. Wait a second. This is why I need a producer. Can you see it now? To this book. And that changed my life, man. What an excellent book. That changed my life. All right, now for real, I do need to go now. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully you got better. Hopefully I got better. We exchanged some information. And A1, yes, my joints hurt with the bulwark as well. So I'm in agreement with you there. I'm glad that I'm not the only one with that. So sorry to the bulwarker group. A great tool if done right. I probably just don't do it right. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go. Over and out.